Hello, my friends. Wanted to come to you really quick and talk about one of our amazing sponsors, Revo Financial. Your money absolutely matters. Your future matters. Your family's future matters. Do you have a plan to take care of your family? Do you have a plan for your money? Well, I'm going to tell you, Revo Financial is the group you need to talk to. Revo Financial is a family-trusted, faith-driven financial advisor group that is passionate about building and managing wealth for clients who value investments that align with their principles and their core values. Give them a call at 918-336-7877. 918-336-7877 or go to revofinancial.com. Nocturnal. Welcome to the Caleb Gordon Podcast, Stewart family. How are y'all?
Thank you. Good.
It's wonderful. Okay, so you guys own Jarrett Farms. Okay, so before we just jump into, I just know that this is how this is going to work. I just talk, and so we'll just try to figure this out and walk through it. Okay, so you guys own Jarrett Farm, but this is not the only space that you guys own in terms of like Airbnb or rentals. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So how did you guys get into that space? We'll start there.
Okay. Well, I've been a real estate agent. I got my license when I was pregnant with my third daughter, so that's how I remember how long I've had it.
Okay.
So a little over 13 years, and I don't know, what year maybe did we buy Rennick?
2020.
In 2020. So we decided we wanted to start buying some properties, and we wanted to buy in Bartlesville because we were living in Houston at the time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there just isn't, the situation in Houston was not something we wanted to invest in because of HOAs and because of the just different situations that were there. We also were hoping to maybe end up back in this area. And Dave was working with ConocoPhillips, so we thought, well, we'll try doing some flip houses in Bartlesville. And then so we bought our first property on Rennick, and it was under contract, but I said, hey, I don't think this is probably going to go through. So I got my license here in Oklahoma. I said, I am thinking the other real estate agent's going to let us know that it's not going to go through, so I'd like to try Airbnb or short-term rental if it doesn't. And sure enough, we decided the other side busted out. And so we went ahead and just tried it, and it was like, okay, let's keep trying. And so that's how we got started in the Airbnb niche. So we manage other people's properties now in Airbnb. And then we have a house that we use for missionaries, and then we have our other Airbnb besides Jarrett Farm.
So that's how you jumped into this, is all that. So
yeah.
You guys jumped into Jarrett Farm. Jarrett Farm's been around for a long time.
Yeah, 1984 is when it was built.
Okay.
Built as a house, maybe late 80s. They opened it up as a restaurant. It was just a family-run business. Started out, they said their first night had 4 people for dinner. Wow. And they just kept going every weekend, grew bigger and bigger till they were having 100 people a night. Then they added suites, then everything seemed to be going well. That family had a tragedy in their family, and life changed circumstances. They just felt like they couldn't stay, so they sold it to some business partners in 1998. Yes. And they came in and they added more suites. They renovated. They turned it into even more of a commercial kitchen, and kept going with the restaurant and bed and breakfast idea. From 98 until like 2007. And so we call that the heyday, from like early 90s, 93, 94 till 2006 was the heydays of Jarrett Farm, especially the restaurant. And then they had an ice storm and knocked them out. And so it kind of limped along until we bought it.
So Dave and I are high school sweethearts, so we actually went on a date there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, during that time.
So you got some history.
Yeah, and then we actually spent our wedding night at Jarrett Farm before we flew out to Anchorage for our honeymoon.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's fantastic. Yeah, my daughter and my son they both stayed there their first
on their wedding night.
on their wedding.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
their first night of being married. So, they no, I take that back. My son came for his anniversary.
Oh, okay.
And my daughter stayed at their first night of her
On our wedding night.
wedding night.
Yes.
Gosh, yeah, that's there. Because if they watch it, they could be like, "Dad, that's not true."
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a connection with our family as well. So when did you guys buy it?
Yeah, November. Sorry.
That's when we heard that it
That's
was
when
for
we
sale.
heard,
Yes,
yeah.
it was
So,
September of.
Yeah, September 2021. We put in our offer in October of 2021, and we got under contract in November, and it took about another 5 months until April 26th of 2022 before we actually closed. It was a long process. As soon as we heard about it, we came back. We're like, let's put our house on the market. Let's get ready. Let's pack up.
So you guys were still in Houston, or
We were still in Houston, but
Okay.
we were wanting to move back to Bartlesville. The Lord was stirring our hearts that this was coming,
Yes.
and so we thought, okay, this is it. Let's do this.
And we had plans to move in December, right before Christmas. So we made all kinds of plans because we believed like this is going to happen. And so we were going to buy a dog and a
We
cat.
did buy our kids a dog for Christmas.
put the whole
Yeah.
9
The
yards?
whole 9 yards. And then to not close until April was really challenging.
Sure.
Lots of stuff happened there.
It is fascinating because you're in the real estate world, so it's about all the things that can happen in just a short amount of time, and you've got a window. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 60 days. It just depends on that time frame. All this stuff can happen that you think, okay, we got this, and it's going to happen on this date. Something happens, and everything falls apart.
Yeah. No
It
real
is a
estate
wild thing.
transaction is the same, and this one was especially more different than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't just a house. I mean, this is a
Right.
full blown
Right.
business.
Right.
And so you guys are in the process of getting everything done. You sign the paperwork. You begin the process of closing, and that's done. And then you open for business, right?
Well, sort of. So when we went through the open house, we realized there was so much work to be done. Vandals had thrown rocks through the windows.
There were animals living in
animals.
different places inside.
We had tons of stale furniture, carpet, walls, everything. It was essentially vacant. Several parts of it were vacant for 7 years.
Oh wow!
And so just the rot, the wear and tear, it's just time. Beats it up. And so we get in, and first thing we do, start ripping out carpet, pulling up, turning down wallpaper, demo, right? Moving walls where we needed to. Like we start that process, that takes a while. And then our goal was we wanted to move in, because that was the plan all along. We moved in, but we said we have to have warm water to move in. That was our criteria. And that took a week of plumbers there full-time and us doing there full-time just to get.
So were you guys living there while this was going on?
So
Not for the first week.
we were in and out. So there's actually an Airbnb across the highway that we stayed at, so
Okay.
that we could,
Be right there.
be
Yeah.
right there.
But there, every plumbing pipe had holes in it. And so you turn on the water and they're like, okay, there's 10 leaks here. So turn it off, and then you try to replace it, turn it back on, find the one or two that you missed.
Sure.
And that was, new water heaters, all of that happened very quickly. And, but after a week, we got in, we're living there, and we just kept going, getting started, and still renovating, still, did all of that stuff, still lived on site. We lived on site for the first 2 years. And the
suite that we lived in, we renovated last.
Right.
And then we ended up living in an RV for about 18 months.
Right.
And our kids begged us to do something else.
Yeah.
And they were kind of at their wits' end, and we were like, okay, our kids.
Because you guys have 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
5
mhm.
kids.
Yeah. So we kind of like took one room in the main house and said, this is our schoolroom living room. Like that's where we had Christmas and stuff. But we were like, okay, so this is our schoolroom. And so they were either in there or in the RV, but our kids were they just didn't want to always, like we were traveling to shower, across the retreat center, like you do at church camp. And they felt like everybody could see them all the time. That was a big deal for my teenagers.
Sure.
They wanted to be able to hide. Even at, where we live now, they're always in their rooms, hiding.
Oh, yeah. I've got a 15-year-old. I think he's in his room.
So they were begging us, and we started praying about it because we were going to renovate a building that we have on the property so that we could have something more like a home at the back of the property.
How many acres are on there?
That's 114 acres.
Okay.
Yeah, but my kids were getting pretty depressed, and they're our first ministry.
Sure.
Jarrett Farm is our second ministry, so we had to take a step back, and we really just prayed for something to open up. We looked at one property that ended up not working out, and then another property right next door to Jarrett Farm in the estates was wanting to rent to own. And so we went over there and tried not to beg so that we could live there. And so we lived there for about a year and a half. Well, just right at a year. Yeah, right at a year. Yeah.
So you're in the middle of all these things, and it just things are happening as they do with owning property, owning a business, the natural, normal ups and downs, and that's to be expected. But tell us, okay, so something happened within the last really month of owning and operating this thing that just sort of kind of just came out of nowhere and sideswiped you.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, it kind of started before the month. If you want to talk more about that, or
You talk about the interest rate, I think.
well, yeah, and even just like during the closing process, what was communicated to us wasn't actually what was happening, is what we found out.
Yeah, so right before closing, the day before closing, I got the loan documents. There was a clause in there that was confusing. The whole time our lender had said, this interest rate is fixed for 3 years, like that's the product. But I didn't see, it wasn't in writing until I actually got the closing documents. Gotcha. Got it the day before closing, read through it best I could, knowing that, well, back up just a little bit, Tri-County Tech, who we bought it from, they had already extended the deadline twice, and they said April 15th is the final deadline. We will not go past April 15th. If you can't close it by then, we're gonna sell it to somebody else. So we closed April 26th. We're already 9 days past their absolute final drop dead deadline. Okay, so on the 25th,
To drop us.
yeah. So on the 25th, when I get this document, I'm like, this clause, I call the banker, this clause is confusing. I don't understand what this means. It looks like maybe the interest rate could change, but you said it's fixed for 3 years. He goes, no, see right here, it says 3 years, cannot change for 3 years. It's fixed for 3 years. You're good. Okay. I didn't want to push it. I should have gone to an attorney, but then how do you say, hey, I need another day. I need to delay the closing one more time. I need you to refigure everything. I think we closed on a Friday even. And so it's like, we got to actually push it until the next week, all of that. I felt that pressure. And so I'm like, I just, okay, this is what it is, even though I don't understand
We
this.
felt like it's the Lord's will for us to own it. This is a ministry for us.
Yeah. So let's just do it. We're going to be fine. Then,
And when did you sign? When did everything get signed?
April 26th of 2022.
2022. Okay.
Yeah. So March 2022. Now, a few things happened in between. We can talk about that. But March of 2023 now, so 11 months later, we get a letter from the bank that says your interest rate is changing from 5.35% to 10.1%. And your payments are going from essentially $7,800 a month to $14,600.
And I remember, it's kind of like one of those moments, when 9/11 happened, you remember where you were? Yes. It was like that for me. I was like the wind was just knocked out of my sails. I started shaking. I was like, this can't happen. We're just barely paying the mortgage as it is because we didn't have money coming in yet. Sure. I mean, we got suites open we got suites open as quickly as we could, but it was one at a time. The first one was in August, and then so And Dave said, he promised me this wasn't going to happen. It's going to be okay. I'll call him. We'll figure it out. It's going to be fine.
Must be a glitch. Must be a mistake.
So it wasn't even, it was barely a year later.
Yeah.
Not 3,
Not
just
3.
1.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I call him. He says, okay, let me look at it.
Go ahead and pay the first payment.
Yeah.
And we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
Make the first payment of 14.6.
Right. Right.
So at this point, we've already exhausted our funds.
Sure.
Because we were putting in our own money. Of course, we put a good chunk down of our own money. And we're like, so we are scraping what we can together to pay this mortgage payment.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he comes back to me and says, no, this is what it is. He didn't, I don't think he ever said I was wrong or I'm so sorry. It was just, no, this is what it is.
Oh man.
And so
he said, I can maybe go back and see if we can do 9%, but that would be the most I could do. And Dave said, we still can't make a payment at 9%. I mean, they knew we had to give them updates of what was coming in.
Sure.
They knew it was coming in. They knew that we didn't have $15,000 coming in from the business.
So, I mean, how is it if you read it in the contract? I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it. So you read in the document that it was a 3-year fixed, and there was a confirmation of that being a 3-year fixed, correct? How?
Yeah.
Did it?
So-
I guess I'm just.
So we misunderstood the legalese of the document.
Right. It's the legalese of the document. There's 2 things that it says that really impact this case. Number 1, it says, and I can never remember the terminology, but it says the interest or this loan will be repaid in 3 something. Like I call it tranches. That's not exactly what it is, but it's like 3 segments. Okay, 3 somethings. The first one, it says will be interest only for the first year. Second one will start at the end of the first year and will be for 24 years. And that is in that clause, 24 years.
Oh.
In that clause is where it says this rate will be fixed for 3 years. Okay. And then there's a balloon payment at the end, whatever's left. Okay. So those are the 3 categories. So when I read that, I called him and I said, it looks like it could, because it says the bank can, not will, but can adjust the rate based on the current market rate. And he said, and I said, this looks like it could happen after year 1. That's what I said on the day before closing. And he said, no, that is not what it says. See right here, it says 3 years. It's fixed for 3 years. It is fixed for 3 years.
Our lender was also the VP of the bank. So we were like, okay, he knows what he's saying.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Sure.
We believe him that, even though some things have been a little dicey or whatever.
Sure.
The other thing that impacts this is that it also says in the documents, which they craft very well to protect themselves, this written document supersedes any verbal agreements that you have made with anyone at the bank. Right? So because I didn't get his interpretation of that in writing, and sign that at closing, I have told the bank that, and they said, well, that was an oral agreement, and this loan.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not willing to work with you. They've not been able to work, or not willing to work with you at all.
Right. Man. So shortly after we got the notice that everything was almost doubling, our lender left the bank. And so then we tried calling the bank, and we have still never spoken with anyone else who works for that bank. Wow. No one has contacted us or tried to work out any kind of a situation where we could say, hey, here's what we make. We want to pay you back. We don't want to.
Yeah, it's not like you're trying to skip out on the loan.
Right. And
you're just trying to make it manageable for you. You're not.
Right. We're a mom and pop shop business.
Come on. Yes.
Yeah. We're not, corporate. And so it's like, a lot of when Dave was still working for ConocoPhillips, a lot of what he made went straight to the bank, and so anyways, we were doing our best to go back to a payment that was feasible for our business, and there was never a meeting. We requested one. Our lawyer sent them documentation saying we will meet with you in person because of some of these things that have happened where it's not been truthful. We will meet with you in person, or we can have everything in writing. And we never got anything in writing, and they never met with us.
Golly, I mean, I get the, I don't want to pretend to know the lending world because I don't. But man, I just feel like that's shady.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how else to say that.
It's like they don't, it feels like they didn't want our success for some reason. What that reason is, we can't say for sure. Of course, we have ideas why. Sure. But it felt like they didn't want us to be successful for some reason.
That is interesting and odd. I mean, because ultimately they gave you the money. If you don't succeed, like I said, I'm just pulling out logic here. If you don't succeed, they're gonna lose money ultimately because you took the money from them. I mean, I'm sure they can come after you somehow, but what are they gonna? They get the property? Is that what they want? Maybe that's what.
Maybe that's what they're after.
Maybe that's what they're after.
That's one of the things that we've talked about, and we're curious, like what would, is there somebody thinking about, like, it's fine because we have had other people speculate, let them renovate it and then we'll come back and have it when it's ready. And I don't know if that's true. We have no way of knowing that. But
And so
they basically even though there was a misunderstanding, they were not willing to give any grace in the misunderstanding, and they were like, "Forget it. This is how it is."
Right. Yeah. So we immediately. So I say immediately after we made the first 2 payments at that higher amount.
So over close to 15, that's $30,000. Like
some of that.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
so some of it was supposed to go to principal.
Yeah. So that's when we contacted our attorney. We're like, this is a crazy situation. They've misapplied the payments. They raised our interest rate. He says, tell me the whole story. Give me all the documents. Let me just take a holistic approach at this. So he looks at all of it and he says that you're living there on site. You told them you were going to live there. You gave them homeowners insurance as your proof of insurance because you were living there. Yes. In my opinion, this is your primary residence. And so this is what we call a mixed loan. It is for a business purpose, but it's also for your primary residence. And I think that the Truth in Lending Act should apply. And if the Truth in Lending Act applies, then they didn't comply with federal law, and they could actually, if found guilty of that, they could go to jail or have fines. Like, this is really serious.
And that came from your lawyer?
That came from my lawyer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the Truth in Lending Act protects consumers who are buying residence, saying that the bank has to fully disclose everything that they're doing, and any kind of rate increase or anything like that at the beginning, they have to provide an amortization chart and just disclose everything. We never received an amortization chart. We don't even know what fees went to where that they charged us because they never disclosed any of that to us, and we've requested that information. So he said, you definitely would still be covered by the Truth in Lending Act. I think you really need to just go back to them and say, let's meet, let's figure this out. Yeah. Like Dave said, they even approved our homeowners insurance. Like when we wrote the letter to Tri-County Tech to try and buy the property, we said, we can't wait to live there and buy our kids a dog. We said that they could have a dog, once we had property.
Yeah. I mean, our banker came out there several times. We showed him where we were living. Like, he knew we were living on site. There was never any question about that. So the attorney recommended that we report them to some agencies for breaking the Truth in Lending Act, write them a letter that says, we want to meet with you. We've reported you to these agencies, and let's meet. And until we do, we're not going to make a payment, because we want to come back to the table. We can't make this $15,000 payment. We want to go back to something more reasonable. Let's meet. We heard nothing from them in response. 2 months later, I think 2.5 months later, we get a call from somebody at the bank saying, hey, you're going to make your payment? I'm like, well, have you read the letter? And he's like, what letter?
What letter?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
the person, we sent it to our banker, and he obviously didn't pass that around.
And then he also didn't stay at that bank. He left that bank.
And so
wow.
then the other guy just said, has our legal team been in contact with you? No,
Nobody's contacted us whatsoever.
Yeah. Can you please have them contact us? Like, we were like, please, we want to talk to someone.
Almost a year later, it was like November or December. That was, no, I shouldn't say that. So that is September of 2023. It was, I guess I shouldn't say a year. 2 or 3 months later, November, December timeframe 2023, they file the beginning paperwork to start foreclosure. Didn't reach out to us, just filed.
They just said, we're just going to pull the trigger on this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we just get served with this, our attorney calls us, and that is what started the legal battle. So so they had all these judgments against us, or claims against us. We had to file counterclaims against them. Then they asked for a summary judgment. We asked for a counter summary judgment, and went to the court, district court here in Washington County, and the judge granted summary judgment to the bank. Really didn't give us much of a chance. I mean, there's our written case, right? The meeting, the talking was less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was less than 5 minutes. He granted the bank summary judgment.
So what is summary judgment
So
mean?
it's more serious than I even realized. I was so upset afterwards because I didn't realize it's basically like what I say is final. Like it's.
So summary judgment is granted when there are no arguments of fact or of material fact. It's, in this case, the judge's position was, you agree that you're not paying. They agree that you're not paying. And so therefore I'm going to grant this summary judgment of basically foreclosure. Like I'm going to allow them to start foreclosing.
Process of foreclosing.
Right. And we said, but we do have material fact disagreements, whether or not this is a personal residence, whether or not the interest rate applies.
Some other contract stuff that had happened in between in those 11 months.
Is this a legal contract? We have disagreements, material disagreements. And he said, no, don't care.
Yeah, he said, I don't. He said, this is cut and dry.
Yeah, he's like, I don't get it. You're not paying. Summary judgment granted.
So I have been on this kick for I've got a friend named Gabe Wrench, and Gabe is from Moscow, Idaho, and he's put together a thing called Business Maker Network, and he's working through the idea of this is the exact type of scenario where there needs to be a solid network of solid Christian businesses.
Right.
That like this is the thing that Christians have done poorly at. And I think it's because we've had a crummy eschatology, but that's a different podcast for a different day. But the idea that we've allowed the pagans, in essence, to take on banking, they've overrun the banking world, they've overrun the technology world, they overrun all the media, and we're trying to catch up. We're running to try to catch up, and this is one of those scenarios where getting a Christian-based banking entity to step into your world to say, okay, you know what? Here's all the information. Everything's up front. We want you to succeed.
Right.
We want you to win.
Right.
We're not trying to gouge you. Obviously, the bank wants to make money because, at the end of the day, they're running the business the same way.
Yeah.
But man, the principles in which you do these things are built on integrity, built on character.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to do this, man, I'm telling you, I've experienced in the last couple of years weird stuff in the banking world where when we're trying to set up an account, one of the questions that was asked, this is that I told you as I had so we're in the middle of setting up a bank account, and they asked me the question, they go, do you have anyone that's affiliated with any type of political group or political organization? And I was like, are you connected with? And I was like, number one, why does that matter?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why is that even, who cares?
Right.
And they were like, well, and the kid was like, I mean, he was probably 22 years old, setting my stuff up, and he was like, well, I don't really know, because
Just tell me to ask this.
I guarantee you that no one has ever, because I guarantee most people go, no, not me, nope, I've never done that, nope, I don't know anything about that. But I was like, why do you want to know?
Right.
If I have anyone connected in government, in political circles, if I'm you don't need to know my political party.
Right.
Like, that's a weird thing.
Right.
That so we need Christians to step up that are entrepreneurial. Praise God that you guys are entrepreneurial and you have a desire to do this. And man, this is when the church and those that are in the kingdom mindset should definitely rally around you guys and be like, okay, what can we do to help these people?
Yeah.
To try to get them a space where they can have freedom, right?
Yeah. I love entrepreneurship. I just love it. But two things in what you said. So it's really a shame, honestly, that you even need, I told Dave this today, that you even need a Truth in Lending Act.
Yes.
Why would there not be truth in lending?
Come on. Yes.
Why would there need to be that to cover somebody who's trying to buy property? And then everybody has been shocked, even when we've reached out to our government representatives. They're shocked that there's not something like this that's going to protect small businesses. Yeah. Right. So that's our next step is, okay, we don't want this to ever happen to anybody else. Right. So how can we help, and how can we make a Truth in Lending Act for small businesses to protect them? And why do we need to? Why would there not be truth in lending anyways? Or some kind of regulation Z for, because it's the same difference. But so that's one thing. And also, like, it, we are so grateful for this lady that just came out of the woodwork, a Christian lady with the American Legion, set up a GoFundMe for us, set up some things, and
and really built a team.
To support us.
Of Christians.
And listen, that's what Christians should do.
Yes.
Is you read the book of Acts, and that's exactly what takes place. Is things go sideways, and they're like, everybody's like, okay, I can give you this. How can I pitch in? Where can I do this? Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's New Testament Christian, and that's how we should have been doing things the whole time. And maybe having experiences or seeing stories like this will spur Christians on that do have that drive to be like, you know what, I want to, let's go.
Is we got, so news came out that we were going to a sheriff's sale. We'll probably get to that. And so many people under that said, oh, we should help them. Somebody should set up a GoFundMe.
Of course, there's criticism of us as well. Like, don't you know what you're signing up for? And
and there's always going to, and especially, don't read the comments. Ignore the comments because they're gonna come and just because you'll just go crazy.
Right.
I have learned in public ministry, public podcasting, going all this stuff. You're going to offend somebody. You're going to make somebody. We live in a hyper culture of I'm offended that you're offended, that I'm offended that you're offended. Like, okay, well, and you're going to have a keyboard warrior. You just got to ignore them, and you just say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish, and align yourself, surround yourself with people that, man, they do love the Lord. They do want to see things advance. Like that, you have a ministry mindset. You have a heart to want to help people. You want to have a heart to minister to the community. Like, let's go. I'm all in. All in.
Exactly. It was just interesting to me, though, that so many people in church take on this, in church or out of church, but it's human nature to be like, oh, somebody should do something to help those people, right? Instead of, what can I do to help those people, right? So we had, so she goes on there and she just reads all these comments about, man, we should set it, somebody should set up a GoFundMe.
Just do it.
Do something. She's like, why don't we just do it then? Like, let's just, and so she did. So she got a team together of other, they call legionnaires, members of the American Legion.
We met her one other time. We've known her for like 2 weeks.
That's awesome. Praise God.
Like, let's just do it. Let's rally around these people. They're a family in need. She came to us the first time. She's like, I don't need to know your business. I just need to know that you're in need, and I'm going to help.
Come on. And literally that should be the majority. But man, we have, and I get that there's all the the scams and the scandals and all that stuff, but I've known you since junior high, bro. Like I've known you a hot minute. Like we're that old. We've got gray in our beards, bro. And so I know your heart. I know you're a man of integrity. You're not trying to scam people out of stuff. You're not trying to steal. You're not trying to do anything.
And I think that's what broke our hearts is like, we know that people are going to think that that's what we're trying to do. And like, oh, they're going to take the money and run. But you know, like you said, like you have to just keep your head above water and keep going. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah.
So what's the deadline for the to have the money?
Yeah. Okay.
So we have a different lawyer situation that we established today.
Yeah. So the sheriff's sale. So let me go back a little bit into the legal battle. This is just the natural process. A lot of people ask that, like, summary judgment came, I don't remember, February-ish, let's say.
We appealed the summary judgment.
We appealed. We lost the appeal at the Civil Court of Appeals. Now we go to the state Supreme Court. So that's where that process is at. Meanwhile, the bank is doing their part, you know. About once every month or two, we get a letter from them saying, here's the next step.
The process
And so then it goes to sheriff's sale. The sheriff's sale is scheduled for next Monday, August 25th. And then the next step in that is they file a, whatever it's called, to go back to the judge and get a confirmation of sheriff's sale, a hearing to confirm the sheriff's sale. Mm-hmm. Once the judge signs the confirmation of sheriff's sale, that would be our deadline. That's like the time. We don't know how long that would take. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it's 6 months. It just matters of how long does it take to get on the docket.
If it's the same judge, he has also signed things before they were supposed to be signed in the past. We were supposed to have a week for a response for one of the situations that we were in, and he signed it the next day. He didn't give us that week.
Yeah.
So we don't know how that would look. He might be signing it right away.
Plus, if somebody actually does buy it at the sheriff's sale or was planning on it, I don't know what legal claim they would have if we take other action to stop that.
Yeah.
So our kind of soft deadline is August 25th, and we had a spaghetti dinner on Saturday night at the American Legion in Osaleda. It went really well. We had a lot of people come out, show their support. We had a pie auction, a silent auction, people just donating.
Perfect.
Yes. And so from that and from other generous donors, we were able to raise enough. It's on the GoFundMe page, I think a little over $16,000. And that's enough to give the bankruptcy attorney what is it called? It's kind of like making a deposit. Retainer. That's his retainer.
I lost the word.
Yeah, so his retainer fee in order to file a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And I want to define that because there's a lot of different bankruptcies out there. Yep. Chapter 11 is called reorganization. So it's not saying we are no longer going to make any payments. It's saying we're going to reorganize our business in order to make the payments.
Yeah. So it's kind of forcing the bank to work with us. Yeah. Is basically what it is. And
so whether that means we sell a portion of it off, we reorganize, we get investors, we revamp, we restructure our pricing, we restructure our packages, it's all of those things in order to say this is how we're going to pay off the bank. Okay. And so by doing that though, it stops the sheriff's sale, it stops foreclosure, it stops everything from happening while we're working through that reorganization.
Which is just which it should.
Yeah.
I mean that's once again I'm back to logic.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we took the money that we raised and we went to the attorney today, gave him the retainer, and then he's got this week to get all of this paperwork filed, and that should stop the sheriff's sale next Monday.
As scripture says, the Lord works all things together for the good of those who love him.
Yes.
In the middle of this sheriff's sale and all of just one horrible day after the next, and just bad news, bad news. Through all of this and through people finding out kind of what was going on and all of that devastating stuff, in the midst of all of that, we've gotten connected with the American Legion and these people, and we've seen blessings from that, and there's quite a few that we can talk about. But one of the biggest blessings is they're talking about using our retreat center for exactly what we want it to be used for.
There you go.
They're saying, hey, like when we win and we help you guys get through all this, we want to have PTSD retreats, week-long retreats, where we're organizing that, and we have a priest and a pastor out there and a therapist and people to help, so that these veterans that have PTSD or are having issues and maybe suicidal, they can come and find restoration. The Holy Spirit can minister to them there, and then they can find. And it's like we didn't even know that was something that we wanted so badly for our retreat center until all of this happened. And so it's like just another way that the Lord is going to use it.
Yeah. We had been talking about pastors for a long time, pastors and missionaries going through, as you know, issues, right? Get beat up by the church, or sometimes caught in sin, or coming back from the mission field, and like just having stuff. Life happens. And we have a heart for pastors, and said, let's do something like that for pastors. Week intensive, marriage counseling, financial counseling, spiritual counseling. Just honestly, it's not really even about the counseling so much as what do they need to restore their soul to the Lord.
Soul work,
just bring that out. And so then when we found out that 1 in 4 veterans commit suicide right now, that is huge, 25%. That does not make any sense to me. Like they are suffering through the same kind of thing. If we can be a place to also help that, it's the same model.
Right.
And so we want to provide a place, food,
all-inclusive retreat for a week for these.
A person and their spouse, and
just for healing. And we also met with a missionary today who said, actually, there's ministries starting to grow for the same reason for missionaries, because they have a difficult reentry coming back into the country. And they said, would you be willing to do something like that for missionaries? And we were like, that's what we've been wanting to do. We just didn't have the connections, moving back here after being gone for 13 years. It's like reconnecting with people. We were working constantly. And so we didn't do our job reconnecting and networking as we should have, because we were like, once we just put our nose to the ground, get everything renovated, then we'll start networking and reconnecting. But
it's so funny the way that God works all things together for our good. He waited until all of this bad news came out, that was a little bit of shame, a little bit of pride, maybe, of just like, we don't really want everybody to know our business.
And this is the reality. Nobody wants to know, or nobody wants anybody else to know their personal stuff. I don't, you don't, we all, but man, there comes, this is the time, when Christianity seems to work opposite from the rest of the world. Jesus, he's like, my strength is made perfect in your weakness, right? Yes. And when we struggle in the areas of prosperity sometimes, but man, when trials and tribulations hit us, it's like a superpower, and we're just like,
exactly,
and just like,
and you shine the light of Christ on that, expose all of this to the world, and people are connected, and they're like, they relate to the stories. They so many people have said that could have been anybody. It could have had, in fact, some of them said it was me. My business got taken away. My house got
because
taken away.
they said we need that. We need that, truth in lending for small businesses. And they said, well, if we can help, and we're trying, I'm not trying to correlate us to Job or some of the things that Joseph went through. Like, we weren't in the pit, but we have
it's still a big
been
deal.
Through a trial and a suffering, and we want to remain true to the Lord and be a light in how to overcome suffering. And so that's our goal right now, is if we can help somebody, we're of course doing everything we can to save our business and save the farm, because we want to be a blessing to other people. We want to be blessed to be a blessing.
I feel like we're watching the making of a Hallmark movie right now. Like, we're going to save the farm, and it's going to.
Jake says we're in the middle of a testimony.
Come on, yes. I mean, you're going to look back in 20 years and be like, this is how God did
Right.
X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I want to mention the political side of this. Like, we really don't want this to happen to other people, so we reached out to both state and federal representatives, and we said, I want 3 things. I want the law to say 3 things, very simple. And when you hear the 3 things, you're going to be like, that's just called common sense. Everybody should do that.
Yeah.
But the bank should, for small business loans, whatever you want to call that, however you break that down, by $1, by family owned, whatever. Okay, for small business loans, you say, here's what the interest rate could grow to if it's a variable rate loan in the first 3 years. Okay, number 2, here's what your payment would be at that highest interest rate that it could go in 3 years. And then number 3, we have to make sure that your projections, your cash flow projections, could support your payments at that highest rate.
yeah.
Like, duh, that's like...
Yeah, we spoke with another business person who works with the Josh Brasheen office, and he said, I have helped buy so many small businesses. I have never seen such a sloppy situation as this. He's like, we always have to turn in our numbers and say, this is how much we can pay. Like, it's never just like, oh, I doubled your payments. Like, he said that never would have happened.
I mean, based on how this document was written, had the prime rate gone to 99%, like, we would have had 100% loan, 100% interest rate.
Yeah.
You know, like, there was no limit on what it could have been. And so that just seems strange that that they would want to loan money at such a unknown, uncertain
This is back
interest rate in 1 year.
and I go back to the idea of why in the world wouldn't the bank want you to win?
Right.
Like, that's the thing that is mystifying me, and maybe there's something I don't know, but even if it's something I don't know, I don't think I'd agree with it.
Right.
Like, because if I'm lending you money and I'm hoping for an ROI that's good as a bank, as a lender, I want you to succeed, because if you succeed, then ergo I succeed.
This is the thing. I've read a lot of books on banks. Banks make money from interest payments. That's like their number one thing. So I've read so many stories about banks that are very happy to come to somebody who can't make their payments and say, you know, let's just stretch it out. Let's lower your payments and stretch it out longer, because that just means more interest. I've almost never heard of a bank that says, I don't want you to pay me interest. I'd rather just take your property, because they're not in the property business. They're in the interest business. So why wouldn't you want me to give you my interest money? And
is there somebody that maybe, and this is speculation, so I don't want people to go, oh, you're accusing it. It's speculation. Is there somebody at the bank that wants the property?
And that's what we don't
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's weird.
Because we have said, can we go back to payments? The bank said no. Can we get another loan for this amount and we'll pay you the rest? The bank said no. We've offered them and they say no. And we said, well, what can we do? They said, pay us back everything in full right now. And so it's like, okay, like
we can't do that.
Yeah. So they're not willing to.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
That is just wild to me.
Yeah. It is to us too.
That is just once again, I'm going to send this to Gabe too, because I'm telling you, he's pushing this. It started with COVID, with all the businesses shutting down and all the mom and pop places, but yet all the big corporations were just, and everybody, all the movies that we watch, it's always the big bad corporation against the little guy, and we want and what do we want? We want the little guy to win, right? We don't want the big corporation to win, but man, how often, I've watched a couple of different banking films about the 2008 crisis, and the whole thing was they hated the fact that the big banks took out the little guys and destroyed businesses and how they stole. And they hated that. Like the whole premise of the movies is how evil that is. Even though it wasn't a Christian film. Yeah. This is the whole the whole thought process is this is morally wrong.
Right. And, scripture continues to stick out to us. Like James talks about people who love money more than relationships.
Yes.
And how evil that is,
Yes.
you know, and we feel like to our lender, like he claimed to be a Christian man, but it seems like maybe he loved money a little bit more than continuing a relationship with us, you know? Yeah. And Psalms talks about that. And there's a lot of places in scripture where it talks about the love of money, and, you know, it gives us pause, and it says, okay, so even in this situation, what are we going to do? So
Sure.
we feel like, of course, Satan is our adversary, but we also have some enemies. Like, but what do? We want to pray for him, but also we say, Lord, if there is anything that needs to be exposed, so that this doesn't continue to happen to anyone else, like vengeance is the Lord's. Like we're not going to do. It's not up to us.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're saying, Lord, if somebody else needs to be protected, so that they're not going through this same situation, let it be exposed. Come on. Yeah, because we are kind of, and maybe this is just our biased opinion, but we're kind of looking at every person involved, like the other bank, the bank that lent us the money, the lender that left the bank that lent us the money, as well as the judicial system. Like, are they all in it together? Like, what's going on with all of this? Yeah. So
sure. I mean, it makes you think things like that. When you start seeing stuff like that, you're like, man, this doesn't add up. To me, it just doesn't. And I'm just asking questions. Like, I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just asking questions. This doesn't seem to add up. And if we're missing something, please somebody lay it out to show us. Hey, I mean, and somebody said, well, it was on the document. You shouldn't have signed it. Well, there was a question asked. Like, it wasn't, you didn't blindly just sign it. You read it and you was like, hey, I have pause about this. Tell me about this. Oh no, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone in the real estate, we're both real estate agents. Our pat answer, if there's any questions on a loan document, is ask your lender.
Yeah, don't ask us. We're not lenders.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as a caveat to that, now I would say ask your lender and your attorney.
Right. You know? Because in legal documents, you should be asking an attorney. We're also not attorneys. Yeah. However, we trusted that a lender would be honest with that.
Right.
Sure.
And again, when you got one day to make a decision and you feel really pressured that you cannot delay this further, I didn't even know an attorney at the time.
We didn't have like an attorney.
Now
have a attorney on retainer. You know, like
you've got an intimate relationship with one.
Right.
You got one.
We're just regular Joes.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, so if somebody sees this, hears this podcast, how can they help?
Yeah, well, thank you. There's a GoFundMe that's for fundraising. That's the best way to do it.
Ask, what is this for?
Sure.
And so it's a good question. We are raising funds to be able to pay this other lawyer to be able to save Jarrett Farm. So it's basically going to go to legal fees. And
you go to GoFundMe and you search "Keep Jarrett Farm a Part of the Community."
Okay, and I'll link it in the body of.
Oh, thank you.
We'll link that. So if you'll just text it to me, I'll just link it in the body of the.
And honestly, I should have said this first, but I mean, pray for us, please. Pray for us.
Yeah, because that's another thing, how the Lord is working, because all of this is out.
Yeah.
Sure.
People have done exactly what we have wanted all along, which is they have been praying for us, and they've told us that they're praying for us. And we had people before say, I pray every time I pass by, and we loved that and we appreciated that. They kind of knew the situation and knew what we were going through, but now you can choose to condemn us or you can choose to pray for us, and that's not up to us. But but we know that prayer is not in vain. The Lord hears our prayers. They're powerful.
Yes.
And so we appreciate any and every prayer. We believe the Lord is going to allow us to keep the farm, but whatever happens, we just want his will to be done. Yeah. And so that's where we're at.
And pray and listen to the Lord. I mean, really, if we've had a few people say, I don't know, I just feel like the Lord is telling me this about your situation. And it is so encouraging to hear. So, anything it's just encouraging to know that people are praying for us. The Lord is speaking.
The Lord is fighting our battles. He's on our side. It's amazing how Scripture continues to stick out to us. Exodus 14:14, that the Lord is fighting our battles. Yes. And, not to fear man, but fear the Lord.
Yes.
And Joshua 1:9 has been with us this whole process. And it's just so interesting how the Lord will let us see, okay, Joshua 1:9, as we're just going through our day or things like that.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing I would say is, come out to Jarrett Farm.
Yeah.
We would love to just give a tour if you want, show you around, book a stay with us, call us about, we have been meeting with, this is breaking news, but we've been meeting with the chef who is ready to reopen the restaurant.
He is. We know him through the American Legion in Owasso. He's a commander out there.
Nice.
Yeah. He's a Christian man.
Oh, he's an incredible chef. He's been a chef for, I don't know, 30 years or something like that, in the military and then outside corporate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so
He's like, how can I help? I want to start a restaurant here. So let's do this.
Let's
like,
do it.
It's like, okay, you're exactly who we've been looking for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So, I mean, exciting things are happening. We are going to rebuild. We are going to reorganize, and we're going to come out, I believe,
until the Lord
stronger.
releases us. We're just going to keep
moving
going forward and taking it day by day.
And I love that tenacity of just saying, I'm not going to give up. And that's, I mean, it's an American spirit, but I think it's also a Christian spirit.
Yeah.
Because the scripture calls us to
press but not crush, persecuted,
keep
not
going.
abandoned.
I would even say more than tenacity, it has, for us, it started with a very deep sense of God's calling, that this is not our idea. This is God's idea that he put, the Bible says that God will put the desires, God gives you the desires of your heart.
There you go.
Okay. We often in America interpret that as, I have a desire and therefore God's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
I want God
He'll
to sign on to what I've already figured out. Yeah.
And the way I see it as, no, God has a desire.
Come on. There we go. Preach.
He is going to put it in your heart. He's going to
especially
give you
if you're seeking
the
him
desire
with your
of
whole heart. Scripture says
Love
you'll
it.
find him if you seek him with your whole heart.
So when you get this desire that you're like, where did this come from? I just really need to do this. Okay, if that's a calling from God, then you can trust that no matter what adversity you experience, he's calling you.
Come on.
It's going to take place.
Love it.
And we've had almost 3 years of facts going in the opposite direction of what the Lord said. And then literally in one day, everything shifted.
It happens a lot in the Bible.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the story of Joseph, right?
Right.
I mean,
So
years.
we've seen the shift. It's still becoming.
Yeah, it's still becoming.
Yeah.
That's right. We're it's there and not yet there. But we see it now. And so I feel even more confidently that this is a calling from the Lord. He's put it on our hearts and he is going to bring it about. Even though, yes, we have tenacity, but it's really more just faith that
He's
God is
fighting our
doing
battles.
this and we're just going to keep being faithful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And if the Lord releases us, then there will be tears and we will go on to the next thing.
Sure.
But we will continue to say, these laws need to be changed.
Yes.
What can we do about it?
Right.
And how can we help other people?
Yes.
And I think the Lord will honor that. And so there was a day when I was like, okay, I am no longer a real estate agent. I'm no longer going to run Airbnbs. I obviously don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm going to go homestead and turn into a complete trad wife. This is my new plan. We're gonna homeschool. Like we already homeschool. I'm gonna make a better garden. That's where we're gonna eat. Like that would for one day I was like, this is the new plan.
Yeah.
But then the next day, the Lord, He encourages us and comforts us,
Love it.
so he's had to do that for me so many times. And it's kind of funny because when one of us just feels disheartened and in great despair, the other one's like, no, we have to keep faith,
This goes back to another thing that I just, it matters who you marry.
Yes, it does.
Because if she wasn't all in, bro,
I know.
if he wasn't all in, I mean,
right.
like that's a huge thing.
From the very beginning of our relationship, I knew that Amber was a woman of prayer.
Come on.
And that was so attractive to me that I was like, I need this because I wasn't.
Yeah.
That was not really how
You weren't a woman of prayer.
I wasn't a man of prayer. I was a man of deep thought, but not of deep heart.
Ooh.
And she was all heart. And I was like, I have to have that in my life. And so it is absolutely about who you marry. Marrying the right person is key for the Lord. So.
Well, cool. Well, I hope that this podcast encourages somebody to spur, not just pray, but maybe spur to action and do something bigger. So
well, and you know what? Take a moment to contact your local representative
Yeah.
and say, let's protect small businesses.
Right.
They are the backbone of our entire nation. 70% of businesses are small businesses, family-run businesses. Like, this could happen to anybody. It's so simple. It's common sense that you shouldn't loan somebody money that they cannot repay you.
Yeah.
So let's just make sure that happens.
That doesn't
just
happen.
put it into law.
I mean, as soon as we talked the first time, after I said immediately, I was like, "Let's have you on the podcast." Like, I get it. Like, let's do it. As soon as I was done, I text the representatives that I have their personal cell. I was like, "Hey, just wanted to," and just it just fired off because I was like, "Hey, this needs to be looked at."
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm a guy that, I mean, I don't know everything, but I know certain areas. I'm like, okay, how can I help? What can I do? I was like, I have this show, people watch it, so let's have you guys. I mean, I was like, I didn't even question. I read it and I was like, oh, this needs to be. They need to have. Like, let's go. Just go.
Yeah,
Just
and
come on.
honestly, it's a blessing, and we appreciate you because it's like, when you just look at the facts, like just, okay, they're in foreclosure and they're going to sheriff's sale.
Yeah.
It's like, but there's so
Let's
much
bring some
more.
heart to it. Let's bring some
this
backstory.
isn't cut and dry, you know, and it's honestly, that's been the side of it. That's also been a blessing in all of this is, okay, we've gotten the opportunity to share what's actually happening.
Love it.
Yeah. So we appreciate you having us on and getting to share that side of it.
And we get to dispel some myths. The funniest myth was, I got a call. I said, this is Dave Stewart with Jarrett Farm. And I said, oh, Jarrett Farm, are the owners dead? Nope.
You're like,
nope, still alive.
Yeah,
We're still here.
We're kicking.
Still kicking. Yeah.
Still kicking.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you all so much for taking time to sit down and talk to me today.
Yeah. We appreciate
Yep.
you.
Blessings.